Hi, my name is Colleen Berquist, and this is my video for the 5th grade position at Wheeling Elementary. So a little bit about myself. So we relocated to Colorado last year from Chicago about a year and a half ago. I taught middle school ELD at Aurora Hills last year, and I'm looking to get back to the elementary level where I have a lot of teaching experience. I've worked as an elementary intervention teacher, and I spent 4 years teaching 5th and 6th grade. And I've also taught at the primary level. All right, moving on to the interview questions. Okay, first, what personality traits do I share with a cartoon character? I would have to say that Lisa Simpson is the character that I would share a lot of personality traits with. She and I are both a little bit introverted. We're very well organized. We have a lot of self-discipline. We're very determined people. We're also really good problem solvers. How this looks to me as a teacher, or how it helps me as a teacher, I guess, is that as a teacher, I'm really well organized. I make lists of what needs to be done. I stay on top of things. I multitask really well. I'm self-disciplined. I use my time at school very wisely. I want to have a good work-home balance, so I try not to bring a lot of work home. I use my time at school to get things done. I don't want to leave until I'm ready for the next day. I'm also a very good problem solver. I listen to kids when they bring problems to me, whether it's my own kids or my students, and I really try to help them problem solve and work toward a solution. I don't want to tell them what to do, but I want to guide them. Okay, what aspects of a teacher life attracted me to the profession? I think teaching is one of those really underappreciated professions. A lot of people think it's really easy. We work 9 months, we have our summers off, but they don't realize that teaching is so important because this is the profession that impacts every other profession out there. We're the ones who are helping raise these kids who are going to grow up and do great things. These are our future leaders that we're raising, and we're educating them, not only teaching them academics, but teaching them life. And I had some amazing teachers growing up, and I became a teacher because of those teachers, because they cared for me, they nurtured me, they challenged me, they made me believe in myself, and I think that's my job as a teacher. And I think especially in 5th grade, it's really important because these kids are heading off to middle school and they're growing up, and there's just so many things that they're facing, and it's really a good year to motivate them to take learning seriously and to think about their future and think about what they want to do after high school and really start steering them on the right path. And I think that's what teachers do. Okay, what do I know about Wheeling? Well, as I said, I taught at Aurora Hills last year, which Wheeling feeds into. So I am very familiar that it's a very diverse population. It's an IB school. I know there's a lot of immigrants and refugees who've moved into the school. I know there's a strong emphasis on literacy and making kids into good readers, doing guided reading groups, tutoring kids. So I think, there's good emphasis on making kids be successful for the future. Okay, why should families trust me to help raise their kids? I think as a teacher, I'm a very caring person. I really am invested in my kids. I want them to do well. I want them to succeed. As a teacher, I see my role as helping them get ready, especially in 5th grade, helping them be successful transitioning to middle school. I want to work with parents to have a partnership to help these kids be successful and to make good choices. I want parents to realize that I really care about their kids, but I'm also going to hold them accountable. I think 5th grade is a great year to teach because there are so many life lessons kids learn, and they learn about being organized and using their time wisely. They learn about note-taking. They learn about ways to be a successful student, but I also hold them responsible for their learning. I hold them responsible for being at school on time and turning work in on time, and I think it's a really good age to start transitioning that responsibility to the kids and away from the parents. I see so many parents who want to do things for the kids, and I think it's a really good age to encourage parents to step back and let their kids be more independent, make sure they have what's successful for them at home, work with parents so the kids, they have a quiet place to study. There's an emphasis on being responsible and getting their schoolwork done, but letting the kids take the responsibility. And I think that that's part of fifth grade and growing up. Okay, what does culturally responsive teaching mean to me, and what does it look like in my classroom? I think being culturally responsive means to really be aware of kids' cultures and the backgrounds that they come from, and being sensitive to that. For example, if I get a student who's a refugee and they haven't been to classroom and they've been in refugee camp for 7-8 years, it's going to be really hard for that kid to understand the structures of being in a classroom, and I'm going to have to be sensitive to that and work with them. And if they come in speaking little English, I have to be sensitive to that and understand that there's going to be a silent period and kids may not want to talk. They may be feeling overwhelmed. They just got uprooted from their country and they're moving to a place where it's completely unfamiliar. I think at the same time, I also need to celebrate kids' cultures in the classroom. Have a map up. Have kids be aware of where each other comes from. Have them be aware of what's going on in the world, and that Aurora is a really small place and there's this whole world out there. And just bringing in different books and videos that show them different perspectives and different cultures and just teaching them different things, I think is super important. Okay, why do I think Wheeling is a good fit for me? Well, I think the biggest reason that Wheeling is a good fit for me is a strong emphasis on literacy and wanting kids to be successful learners. I think one of my strengths as a teacher is in teaching reading and writing and working with different ability levels and different levels of language proficiency. And I think I'd be a really good fit that way. I've also worked in a lot of Title I schools. I've worked with a lot of diverse populations. So I think, I'm really good at that. I think there's things I need to learn still. But I learned a lot last year. I learned a lot about building relationships and the importance of doing that with kids. And I think if I was coming to Wheeling, one thing that I like about being in fifth grade is I have the same kids either all day or most of the day, depending how things are set up. At the elementary level, it's one group of kids to get to know and to build relationships with. I think there's an opportunity to eat lunch with kids and talk to them and get to know them. And I really like teaching at the elementary level, and I think Wheeling would be a good fit for me because of those reasons. Okay, as far as IB and the PYP program, I'll be honest, I am familiar with IB. I taught in IB school last year, but that was my first exposure to IB. I'm familiar with the learner profile. I know last year one thing we did is every month we tried to focus on a different learner profile. So we were talking about being an inquirer. We'd spend the whole month talking about that, watching videos about it, reading articles about it, recognizing that trait in students. And I think I still have a lot to learn with the IB program. And I know about statements of inquiry and writing them. I think I'm getting better at doing that. I think if you were to come in my classroom, you would definitely see statements of inquiry. You'd see a lot of student work. You would see assessments that are going to be given, because I think it's really important for kids to know how they're going to be assessed and to be working towards that. I really like having a student-centered classroom, so I like a classroom where kids are talking and working in groups and collaborating together. I think that's really important to me. And like I said, I don't know a lot about IB, but I'm definitely willing to learn and willing to be trained and to learn more about IB. So thank you so much for considering me for the fifth grade position.